An all-new $15,000 pickup truck is making shockwaves. It's by GM and it'll actually be the cheapest truck on the market. And you must be thinking what we've been thinking. Will it be good? But this truck surprised us. It is unique and as practical as a truck could be, especially compared to its competitors like the Maverick and Santa Cruz. Just the concept being mentioned in headlines has been making changes, and the US market especially will not be the same. So why even make this? A $15,000 truck seems unbelievable, and you have to ask what the trick is and even why make this in the first place. But the reason is simple. There's a huge demand for low-cost vehicles and it's not disappearing. We are experiencing record inflation and everything is becoming more costly. It is very essential that there are cars that can help small businesses and families in the market. GM has not made anything like this for a long time, and no other company has either. Almost every car price has been rising, and there are many reasons why, like dealerships and the global supply chain. But things have been changing a lot at the GM headquarters since Mary Barra became CEO. She's dedicated to making their products more economical, eco-friendly, and electric. And now she's taken on the huge challenge of making a truck for only $15,000. We'll talk about their strategy in detail in just a few minutes. But first, let's tell you what this truck can do. Capabilities. Barra has made it clear that the new truck will not compromise on features and quality. The potential customer of this new truck will want it to be reliable, powerful, and practical. Otherwise, what would be the point of it all? GM has to offer this. This is why the Terra will be equipped with a 2.5-litre four-cylinder engine that should be enough for everyday tasks. It'll not be able to handle heavy-duty work, but it'll be perfect for urban dwellers and lightweight cargo transport. It'll be useful for small business owners and families that need a spacious and comfortable car that's still a bit more practical. The Terra will have an infotainment system and all the basics, but we don't expect much since this is only $15,000. But for those who want more, there will be a higher trim available that is a bit more luxurious. But how are they going to do this? The current market trend has shown car prices going up at record-breaking rates, and what goes up must come down. This is already happening, not just on the old models, but big companies like Toyota have actually made their newer flagship products cheaper, and it's the same thing with other giant manufacturers too. Just look at the Land Cruiser, it went down by almost $25,000. They did this by focusing on making the car really good at one specific thing, and using that as a marketing strategy. On top of that, if you make it look just like the concept and give it another market gimmick, then you have a masterpiece that could be sold very quickly. Ford did the same thing with the Maverick. They designed it to be fuel efficient and lightweight, making it the obvious choice for many people living in the city, who just need their trucks to do one thing only. And we wouldn't be surprised if General Motors took a lesson from their rivals. And we all know how much GM has been pushing the sustainability movement. So it's very likely that the Terra will be designed to be fuel efficient and lightweight. It just makes sense. This could lead to high demand and start a trend just like the Ford Maverick did. But we should talk about this in depth, so we will. And think about how much you would save on gas while also benefiting from its functionality and practicality. Plus, you only bought it for $15,000. It just makes sense, and we've already seen this work with the Ford Maverick. It's not a powerful truck and it's not meant for heavy-duty or off-road use, but it does what it's supposed to do really well. But this seems too good to be true, right? So let's face the harsh reality. Challenges. The Terra faces many obstacles. The first and most obvious one is that it has to be made within a tight budget. We've already talked about how this could be possible, but we also have to consider that cheap things are often not made with good care. That's just common sense. But let's say General Motors actually manages to create the Terra at such a low price point. They still have to figure out the after-sales service. And once the truck is released, it's likely to have very high demand, which means they'll have to find a solution for that too. We can look at the Ford Maverick as an example. Demand has been so high that the price has gone up too fast. Ford is constantly raising prices, but it is still out of control, and even if they're willing to pay the high price, you'll not be able to get one. But the most challenging thing for General Motors would be convincing the public to buy an unproven truck that hasn't been tested yet, instead of a truck that has a proven track record of dependability and has been on the market without any problems. Would you buy a $15,000 truck, or save for a couple of months or even years, and buy something like a Maverick or a Santa Cruz for just a little higher price? And it will even be hard to compete with used trucks like the Tacoma, which is known for being reliable. What would you honestly do? Plus, if General Motors proves that the Terra can be successful in the US market, they'll face constant competition. But this will make more sense once we explain the impact the Terra will have on the market. Impact. Major overseas companies like Toyota make specific models just for the US market, because the US truck market is quite different from the rest of the world. Most trucks are made here, and there's a lot of competition. And often, trucks are bought for social status, not just for work or other practical purposes. We're not saying that trucks aren't useful, but a lot of the price is influenced by how well the marketing has convinced the public. This allows companies to sell trucks for much more than they're actually worth. Look at Toyota. They sell one of their famous trucks, the Hilux, around the world. These trucks are known for being capable, durable, and reliable, and many people prefer them over other trucks, including the Tacoma. They're also relatively cheap. In Australia, they're sold for $20,000, which is less than the suggested price of the Ford Maverick, yet they're more capable. But they're not available on the US market because Toyota mainly focuses on the Tacoma and Tundra, which they can sell for much more. If General Motors actually succeeds, then surely all other companies will enter the US market with a different intention. The US market will not be the same, and GM will have a much better chance at breaking into the markets of the rest of the world. Demand and availability. The world is eagerly waiting for more news from GM, and who wouldn't be thrilled? This truck is a game changer and has the potential to reshape the entire industry. It could be the solution to many people's needs for a practical and affordable vehicle. However, with all the buzz and demand, the same old story could happen again, just like with the Maverick. The price could be inflated and dealerships will do what they've always done. There's no simple way out of it unless they can find a solution. This is what happened to Ford, and it will likely happen again. The good thing, and the main difference now, is the timing. Car prices skyrocketed unexpectedly, and just like that, they will plummet. And this is not just a guess, it's happening right now. So GM will have an easier market, and it will be the perfect time for the Terra. They could seize the opportunity and make a lasting impact by setting a new standard for the industry. What should you expect? We all know that this is close to mission impossible, but we've witnessed many other bold and daring decisions succeed. Even if things don't go as planned, it'll be good for us. The hype alone, the demand, and all the talk on the internet will have a domino effect sooner or later. If things go as planned, or even with a little difficulty, it's a step forward in giving us, the customers, what we actually want. It could also be a learning experience for everyone involved. Only luxurious and useless things get attention most of the time, and all the media coverage goes to them. That's just the way it has been, but us making this video and you engaging with it just proves how much demand there is for a practical and functional truck. But what do you think? Is this even possible? Thanks for watching, and see you on the next one.